When you see a player standing at 7'1", 325 pounds, just pray he's on your team.
Kobe on the move. Louds for O'Neal for the dunk. Kobe Bryant worked into the lane and Shaq hammered it in with a right hand.
Known widely as the most dominant player in NBA history, Shaq was an absolute menace to the league. But as his career went on, people noticed something. They noticed the big man coming into the season a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. And with Shaq playing alongside Kobe Bryant for some years, one of the hardest working players ever, people asked the question, what if Shaq had Kobe's work ethic?
Who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic?
He'd be the greatest of all time. Yeah, I wish he was in the gym. I would have had fucking 12 rings.
And I see why Kobe would say this. I mean, he is seen as the hardest working player in NBA history. He truly worked for perfection, and who did he see as perfection? Michael Jordan. MJ was the best he's ever seen, so Kobe did everything he could to become the best. And he got pretty damn close if you ask me. Phil Jackson, who also coached Michael Jordan, has actually said that Kobe is the hardest working player he's ever seen. And when someone says you worked harder than Jordan, that really means something. But as expected, Shaq did not like what Kobe had to say about his work ethic.
He said if the work ethic had been higher, he could have been even better. We could have won even more rings. I thought that was interesting if you apply that to business. What do you make of that?
Make of what?
His comments on your work ethic.
Whose comments?
Kobe's.
Was he saying that to me, or was he saying that to all the statues that I have in front of the Staples Center?
And after everything Shaq has done, you have to see it from his perspective. Accomplishing so much just to have people question how hard you worked, and no matter what anyone says, this man worked hard. And what if I even went as far as saying that Shaquille O'Neal had a better work ethic than Kobe Bryant? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Shaquille O'Neal put more hours in than Kobe, because Kobe's freakish workout regimen truly stands alone. But what I will say is that Shaquille O'Neal doesn't get the credit he deserves in terms of his longevity. And for some reason, there's this stigma that Shaq was a slacker. In his first 12 seasons, this man averaged 38 minutes a game. And with Shaq coming into the league as an all-star in his first season, his peak years started right away. Shaq's peak was 14 years long. 14 years is a very long time period to be one of the best bigs in the game. Not to mention that he was the best big in the NBA for many of those years. And this is how Shaq's peak years compare to other great bigs. Clearly, he is up there with the best of them, tied with Wilt Chamberlain at 14 years. So the notion that Shaq was a slacker should be forgotten, because it even seems like some people treat Shaq's career as a what if. And based on the evidence of his career, that doesn't make much sense. He was already a top 5 player in his second season and was the best player on a team that won 3 NBA championships in a row. And even past his absolute prime years, was still the second best player on the 2006 NBA champion Miami Heat. And when people are basically saying, imagine you worked as hard as your second best player, I can absolutely see why Shaq would feel disrespected. And while Kobe did put in more training hours than Shaq, it could have also been his downfall. As Kobe got older, he started dealing with more and more injuries, and his aging body couldn't keep up with his work ethic. But what brought Kobe to the top may have been what brought him back down. Kobe understood the sacrifices it took to be great. Kobe needed to work as hard as he did to be as great as he was. And I don't know if the same can be said about Shaq. If we compare Kobe's prime years to Shaq's, you can see they both had a 14-year peak, both averaged around the 27 point per game mark. Kobe had 5 rings to Shaq's 4, but Shaq had 3 finals MVPs to Kobe's 2, and they both had 1 regular season MVP. Shaq's peak years lasted just as long as Kobe's, so I may need to be reminded why Shaq gets looked down upon when talking about work ethic. And looking back at his career, it's hard to try and figure out what Shaq left on the table. The only thing left questionable should be the breaking up of Shaq and Kobe. If we're going to talk about what ifs, then what if Shaq and Kobe stayed together would be a good start. So if you were to ask me, what if Shaq had Kobe's work ethic, I would say it doesn't matter. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. That helps the video out tremendously. And subscribe to the channel. But until next time, I am out.